Welcome to the WP SEO Show, brought to you by SEO Hive, your proactive white label SEO partner. The WP SEO Show is all about talking WordPress and SEO, from optimizations, structures, setups, and plugins. We explore how to make your WordPress website perform better in the search engines. Here are your hosts, Pete Everett and Jeff Patch.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the WP SEO Show. My name is Pete and I'm joined by Jeff all the way from California. How are you doing, mate?
Hey, good. Hot. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I hope you mean hot in terms of temperature rather than anything else.
Well, that was what I was referring to, but I'm kind of sad to realize that you don't think I'm hot. Like, is that what you're getting at right now? I'm a little hurt. It's your approval of my my beauty is not really something that keeps me up at night, but I'm still a little hurt. You don't think I'm hot? I thought you were hot, but whatever.
So the irony of this is that I've started this show. We always have this debate before we hit recorders, who's going to start a show, and he's just said you start it because you're better at starting them. And literally, you said the first word was, your second or third word was hot, and that's it. We've ruined the intro straight away. So thanks for that, bud. You may as well kick this one off.
I may as well, but we're only 1 minute in so far, and if it was me, it'd take 3 minutes before we ended my ADHD rant. So I think we're still ahead of things here. I think we're doing good. We're on a good path, hopefully.
Well, weirdly, sort of things not appearing the way they seem is kind of the theme for this week's show. So maybe you did sort of,
See, it was all strategic. It was all strategic.
No, it wasn't. You liar.
Yeah, we've got, I'm not going to lie, this is a clickbaity title. I mean, we don't necessarily finalize the titles before we start, but the one we've got jotted down is definitely the most clickbait title that we've ever had. And I'm here for it. I'm fine. Let's do it. Let's go.
Well, the irony is we've actually got two clickbaity titles written down, and at the minute I don't know which one you're referring to.
I'm going with the second one.
Right, okay. So stop selling SEO and do this instead.
Yeah, dude, this I can see the thumbnail already, right? And people are gonna be clicking it on YouTube. It's gonna be great. That's what we're doing. We're going for clickbait. There's gonna be no actual good content in this. It's all about getting you to click the title.
Yeah. So if you've got
joke.
2 minutes in,
Pete waited too long to laugh at that.
Then, if you've got 2 minutes in, then that's all the content we've got for you this week, guys. So, yeah, cheers. So, look, I guess we need to start by exploring why you should stop selling SEO. What's the problem with selling SEO?
Yeah. And I mean, okay, I'm already going to cover our butts here and say, we're not saying don't sell SEO. We're just saying take a little bit less of a focus on the quote unquote SEO, right? Because let's role play, Pete. You like role playing?
Yeah, this episode's going really weird.
That's my goal in most things in life. Okay, you're a plumber, right? And I start talking about SEO. What are you thinking?
Fix the photocopier instead. Can't I do that?
What?
I want to come in and fix the photocopier instead. Can I do that?
You're the no. That's not a business owner. A photocopy repair guy is probably not hiring us to do SEO.
Okay, I'll be the plumber. Right, go for it.
Thank you. Goodness gracious. Hey, Mr. Plumber, thanks for paying us to build this website for you. Hey, are you interested in SEO now?
No.
You don't even know what SEO is, or you've heard horror stories about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There was this one guy that I know, and he spent like $15,000. They said they were going to get him to number one in Google, and they just took his money and ran away.
Yeah, okay. All right. If you're an agency owner or a freelancer, you've built a website for somebody, you've had that conversation. Maybe this role-playing idea wasn't a good idea. Pete's not a good player. It was worth a shot. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's the truth of it is, though, right? How many times have we, as the business professional, digital marketer, whatever, heard that from a company? Oh, I'm not interested in SEO because it takes 6 months. You never see results, or they've heard all the horror stories. And that's because we're using technical terms. I mean, I know SEO isn't super technical, but it is for that type of business owner or that person. It's not insulting their intelligence. It's just their experience and where they are in the market.
You're right. It does have this persona almost of being difficult, and because it's difficult, it's therefore expensive. So yeah, you are fighting if with certain clients who, if they're not educated in you're right, in the jargon, in the ways that these things work, you can be fighting an uphill battle before you start, just by using terms like SEO. And then if you deep dive, the other thing that I find with a lot of clients is some of them don't care how it works. And that's the other thing. If you then try and pigeonhole clients into something like SEO, they almost feel like, well, if we only do that, then I'm missing out on all of these opportunities over here. And actually, all they really care about is either getting more sales or getting more inquiries. So, they don't really care how it happens. They just want it to happen. So if you come in and just blast them with the SEO gun, you are not talking their language.
Well, the other thing is they probably don't even know what SEO quote unquote is. Or what you mean by that too. I mean, they might. I guess let's assume that most people know that SEO is moving up Google. All right, that's as simple as we could state it. But most of them don't really know what goes into that, or what you would be doing, or what they would be paying for if if they just sign up for that.
Or it's just creating blogs in ChatGPT, isn't it?
According to some people we have talked to lately, yes, that is all SEO is. And oddly enough, they were complaining about not getting results.
Yeah. Well, we took this in house. We did it with ChatGPT, and it's not working. But we don't know why.
Oh gosh, okay. I really want to tell some stories, but I don't think we could go into that story right now.
So that's the first part of it. There's also, and we were just chatting about this before we started the recording, which is there's also kind of a flip side to that coin, which is you as the agency. Now, if you are running a pure thoroughbred SEO agency, I mean that is what you do. This next bit isn't really going to apply to you, because that is, as I say, that's all you do. But if you're more of a general agency and SEO is one of the services you offer, it doesn't matter if you're a solo agency or a multi-person team, but if you do build websites and you offer care plans and you do hosting and maintenance and you maybe do some ads and you do SEO kind of in the mix of that, then the problem with going too hard in on the SEO, particularly if this is a site you haven't built, is you can kind of end up pigeonholing yourself into a corner, which means that if for whatever reason your efforts drive traffic, but for whatever reason traffic doesn't convert on the site, either that due to the quality of the traffic, or the website design isn't great, or the contact form doesn't work, or whatever it is that's technically outside of your remit because you haven't built the flipping thing in the first place, then actually you can end up taking the brunt for other people's bad decisions, other people's errors, other things that have just gone wrong. Maybe the site loads slow because it's on GoDaddy and they refuse to move the hosting or whatever. You can make all the recommendations that you want, but if those recommendations on their own, unless they're actioned, aren't going to demonstrate any results to the clients, which is hence why I say could end up pigeonholing yourself into a corner. So there's a flip side to that coin as well.
Yeah, it's not something you can just go purchase and just like plug into your website. Like, it's not a plugin you upload. Like, most of the time your website's going to be ready for this stuff. But how many times have we just at SEO Hive, and this is working with professional agencies, like, and no disrespect, sorry if anybody feels like I'm talking about them or anything like that, but how many times have we onboarded a client and found out later that like their contact form wasn't working this whole time?
Yep.
And we could have potentially figured that out, but that's really out of our scope, and it's something that, unless we were even concerned about it, would never notice. We would never go specifically check that and track all that but as the website developer, the maintenance people, whoever, that is your job to make sure that they can send email correctly or whatnot. Or, I mean, we've seen sites without blogs that want to start, posting, and in WordPress, not the biggest problem in the world, but it is an issue that has to be taken care of.
Well, no word of a lie. We had a guy come, or an agency approach us with a single page website and wanted us to start blogging on it. And we're like, dude, it's one page. Where do you want us to put this stuff? What, like add more sections at the bottom? It's
Yeah.
So they did have to go away and build a blog and build a blog template, build a post template, and then we came back and look, yeah, now we can post some stuff. Cheers.
Yeah.
But
I remember you talking about it was very specifically like a unique theme that didn't have anything built in. We're like, okay.
I must admit, when you started saying what you've just said, I thought you were going to say, how many times have we had a Divi site just to find that they haven't used templates but have styled all of the posts in the builder? No offense to any Divi users out there.
Yeah, it just happens a lot with Divi. It doesn't need to, but for some reason, everybody who does Divi does it this way. And I have seen that. I'm not trying to start ranting about Divi, but I have seen probably 7 posts this week. And you know how little I really go on Facebook and all that stuff. But I have seen so many people go, hey, I just converted a site from Divi. Now all the blogs are there's code all over them and stuff. And I just keep seeing that and going, oh, yeah, that happens. That happens.
There's a business idea that we're releasing live on the show, which is if you can create a plugin that monitors your posts, and if you've created half a dozen or more posts in exactly the same format but have designed them in the post, it pops up and says, do you want to create a template for that? And it strips all that crap out and makes a template and just sets you up properly. We'd be millionaires.
Well, I don't know about an automated way to do that, but I have done exactly that. We've had sites that come aboard and they've just got the same post template for blogs, another one for events, all that done as one. And then they instructed the client to just keep cloning that one post and changing the content every month. And it's like, oh, okay, now you want a design change? Well, guess what? We have to do it 100 times or whatnot. So I've taken one, built a template, and then stripped all the stuff out and been like, look at that. Did it right from the start now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we've gone off track. That
squirrel.
Having Divi templates is not the reason why you should stop selling SEO and do this instead, right?
Yeah.
Although if you are doing Divi, do this instead and build your Divi templates in templates and not in stuff. You can do both. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. We've seen another thing happening a lot lately too, with people requesting specific keywords. We've talked about this a lot, but people requesting specific keywords or even focusing on certain keywords already, only to find out there's absolutely no search volume. There's nobody looking for those keywords.
Yeah. I want to be number 1 for tartan pigs. Who the hell wants a tartan pig?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because such and such down the road, they're in number 1 and our tartan pigs are better than their tartan pigs. So we want to be number 1 for tartan pigs. Okay.
Yeah. And I think there was a time too where we were probably guilty of allowing that to happen too often, because we ask it in onboarding, and I'm sure many people ask it too, what are the keywords that, you hold dear to your heart? I'm like, cool, we'll throw them on the list and track and see how they go. And then after a couple months, you look at them and go, why aren't they improving? Oh, that's why. Nobody's here. So how many people out there are selling clients these services and putting all the work into that? Maybe they're doing honest work. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're doing it from a good place and they're putting in the hard work, but only to just be wasting everyone's time and money,
Well, and this is bringing us on to the sort of the crux of what you should be focusing on, because the real look, we've done this for years in our agency, or in my agency. We've done it for years, we've encouraged our clients to do it for years with through SEO Hive, which is actually you need to establish what the results are going to be that are going to grow a client's business. Whether that's more sales, whether that's more inquiries, whether that, and then from there you can then figure out what the competition's like, and you can start to build this picture up of knowing what it is you need to compete in that place. And this is where SEO becomes more than SEO, because it's not at that point. It's not just about driving the traffic. It's then making sure that when the user gets to the site, they can take the action that you want them to take in order to make that SEO worthwhile, to demonstrate that return. And this is where SEO becomes more than just the SEO tactics. It has an element of conversion rate optimization in it. And I will be the first to hold my hands up and say I am not a conversion rate optimization specialist, but after having done SEO for the last 15 years, I know a few things that work and can normally spot a glaring problem quite easily. But as I say, I'm nowhere near a specialist or a UX designer that a conversion rate designer that can, there's people far more skilled at that than I am. But I know enough of the broad brushstrokes.
People literally specialize in that and do it all day long, and they do it for very high levels. I think I would agree with that assessment about myself as well. I think but saying that, both of us are probably like in that top 20% of people that can do it, just because we've had that time and that experience and we've seen that stuff. So like we may not be the best at doing all that, but we can do a review and quickly see the problems, quickly see where there's things that's broken, quickly see where this is not going to work. And if anything, just kind of opening your mind and putting yourself in the customer's shoes. Like if I were to try to do this, would I have a challenge? Another thing to look at too, beyond, just the search engine, right? I mean, that's the one we're doing all this work for, but this is easily translatable to other marketing channels, Facebook or something. We were just talking about this yesterday. Somebody asked if one of our sales calls was asking if we do social media. And I said, no, we don't. But it is something I highly recommend. And I've told many, many people in calls this, like, we're already producing content, repurpose that. Turn it into a Facebook post, turn it into a tweet or an X or whatever they call them. They turn it into a Threads post, an Instagram, do something with it. And when it's already done, you've already got 99% of the assets there. It's just a matter of tweaking it, repurposing it. So that's another thing that could be, quickly put into your new SEO plan that you could rename into something fancy like growth plan or marketing, whatever. I'm not creative for these things, but you know where I'm getting at.
Well, there is actually an SEO benefit to having social media traffic view your site, but it only works for brand new content as you're publishing it. Which is, so here's a little side tip. So when we submit, unless you've got your site set up for the news vertical in the SERPs, generally when you create something on a site, it's going to take 2-3 days maybe to appear in the search engines. You can get things in there faster than that. I'm not saying everything goes that slow, but generally speaking, general page, general product is going to take a couple of days to appear in the search engines. Now, if you've got GA4 installed on the site, so this wouldn't work if you're only using Fathom or something like that, but if you've got GA4 installed on the site and you send social media traffic to that new piece of content, when Google indexes it, it will see the visits that it's had from social media. So rather than just seeing a blank page with no history, it will see a page that already has a number of visits. It already has a bounce rate. It already has a time on site. It already has a scroll depth, already has a click-through rate to other pages. So you can kind of spoon feed all of that. So when it starts to index, it's already got some user data, all just by taking the content that we've created for you and creating a Facebook post that goes out the time the thing's published.
That's a really small but amazing thing that you can do, and I love that because it's using, I guess, it's validating it, right? It's saying people are actually interested in this, whereas you can create a page, post it to Search Console, say, hey, index this, but if no one's gone to it, you're just waiting for the traffic to build up, just waiting for it. So send it there and help build that foundation.
Absolutely. So, and this is really the thing that we are saying you should do instead, which is rather than sell SEO, is work with clients to grow their business. And like you mentioned the word growth plan earlier, or you can call it a marketing plan or a whatever. My brain doesn't. When we're trying to name services at SEO Hive, it literally takes weeks of ideas batting backwards and forwards of, hey, what about this and what about that? And I have a big PDF full of B-based terms so that we can see if anything will fit. But that's so whatever you want to call it, but actually have you create the plan which is going to target the growth of the customer's business, and essentially at that point, rather than just becoming an SEO supplier to them, you're becoming their marketing partner. And you have far more autonomy to make sure this thing is working from end to end. A large piece of that jigsaw is going to be the SEO work that you do, because that's what you're ultimately wanting to do if you're approaching it from this end. But you are not confined to that. You have autonomy that goes before, after, and either side of it in order to make sure it's working.
Yep. Now, you could certainly take the time with them. You should, if you can, determine what the deliverables should be. Excuse me, I cannot talk today. I've got marbles in my mouth. you could figure out what the deliverables are. I mean, safe to say they probably need content. There's that, but you can look at where are their customers, how are we speaking to them, how can we easily reach them. Maybe that's just auto posting their new blogs. Maybe that's creating custom social media content. But either way, you can build this into those monthly packages. So that's the biggest thing everybody we talk to wants to do. They want monthly packages. They want the recurring revenue. So instead of just signing them up for hosting and maintenance plan, which are great, and it actually positions you to be this person perfectly, but it still is small time and limiting in what you can and will do for them. So, when you can insert yourself into that position and plan the growth with them, man, we're just seeing so much more success from, our direct clients, from our agency partners doing things like this, and getting away from the big kind of corporate feel of SEO. I felt in the past, anytime anybody talked about SEO, they always had to wear a suit and tie, and they're talking about, these metrics of thousands and thousands of views every day. And like, let's be realistic. Small businesses don't get that. Most of them aren't getting that type of traffic and things. So,
and some of them don't. Well, the vast majority of them don't need that type of traffic either. To demonstrate a return in somebody's business, you don't need hundreds of thousands of views or visits to a site. You just don't need that. If it's structured properly, a 15 or 20% gain in traffic in the first year will make you look like a superstar to the vast majority of clients. That's the reality. As long as the quality of that traffic is somebody that's actually going to buy whatever it is that they're selling. But the other thing that you can do in these positions is, again, if you're looking at being a marketing partner to somebody, is you can also put other metrics in place to aid that marketing journey. So, for example, you might want to, if you're working on a site and the only option is either to inquire now or to buy now, that does like one call to A, which is give me money. Actually putting something in there which is, hey, download this resource, or download our free guide to this, or have a free sample, or whatever it can be, and then that builds an email marketing list, which then gives you another arm of something you can deliver through your growth plan, which is email marketing to people that have already shown an interest. Because we all know that cold customers don't generally give you money. Most customers need somewhere between 4 and 7 touch points with a business before they'll consider trusting it enough to actually place an order. So if you're just working on SEO, you're kind of expecting that cold traffic to give you money. Now, if you're selling, pens, that might work. But if you're selling yachts, it sure as hell doesn't. I know, because we've sold yachts. So that's the it is kind of dependable on where on that spectrum you are, anywhere from a pencil sharpener to a yacht, but it's something else you're in control of. And ultimately, what particularly we're really focusing on in this episode is the more that it sounds like you're going to do more work, but actually what it's really doing is giving you more control over the output of the retainer to help the client, rather than just narrowing it down to SEO, which is something that they may or may not want. They may be prejudiced about in the first place anyway.
Yeah. Yep. You mentioned, excuse me, when you're getting cold traffic, they're not really jumping to buy, right? I mean, cold traffic isn't the hot, the hot customers that you need. So I'm kind of connecting my thoughts here, but the thing about doing some more stuff on social media is people can see that. Whereas your SEO ranking, sure, they're going to search for you and you're going to be high up the rank, hopefully. And that's going to kind of cement you as legitimate and an active business. Because how many times have you ordered something from a company online and it turns out they've been shut down for 6 months, just never turned off their website or something like that? And I'm weird. I'm one of those ones that doesn't like to cough up money unless I really, really trust them. And so before I ever buy something from somebody for the first time online, big, small, who cares? I'll check their socials. Are they active? Do they actually seem like there's people in the office, taking my orders? And I say this admitting that we are not very active on our socials sometimes, but that's, those are the things that people do look for sometimes. And then they see are they showing up? Are they out there? Do they actually exist? Or is this just a website somebody copied 10 years ago? I mean, we've seen those things happen.
So if you check our socials out after this episode and see that there isn't any activity on there, please email hello@seohive.co and make sure the subject says "for the attention of Jeff."
Hey, I think the fact that we put our faces on these videos and podcasts out there, I think that's kind of checking that box a little bit there. But you're right. We should be Xing more. Is that what the act of posting on
Surely
that
it's
is more?
kissing more, but that sounds wrong.
That does sound wrong. We should kiss more. Not you and I, but we
Definitely
just in
not
general.
you and I.
Just in general, should just do more kissing in this world.
Right. I'll leave that up to your side of the business. So again, if that's the service you want, FAO Jeff at the start of your email. Yeah, that's all good.
I got some new ideas spinning now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, but you're right. Cold traffic is it's difficult to make. It is on that spectrum, as I say, depending on where the client's product sits. The one thing I would say though is SEO is basically the only version of non-interruption marketing that we've been talking about so far, with the exception maybe of Google Ads. So, if you think about running Facebook ads or social posts or whatever it might be, somebody who's seeing them sitting there on their phone and they're scrolling past the next door's kids and next door's cat and, great Aunt Maud's fig tree and whatever it might be, then all of a sudden they see an ad for your super duper biro pen that you're selling. And they're not really in the headspace for it because you are running that ad in their social space. But if you run the difference with SEO and Google Ads is because they're keyword based, the end user has obviously typed something in order to see your result. So they are kind of already in the headspace of whatever the theme or the topic is that you're ranking for. So there is a slight difference to it. But all of that stuff you've said about brand validation and company validation and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't, from a social media point of view, it is about playing the algorithm. If you've got National Fish and Chip Day or it's National Dog Day and you do a thing about the dog, it doesn't all have to be about work. But actually keeping it active means that at least you have content there that is validating for prospective customers, but you're also playing to the strengths of those algorithms as well as playing to the strength of Google's algorithm, so that when you do have a message you want to broadcast on social media, guess what? You're going to get far wider reach than if you haven't posted anything for weeks and then decide to share a blog post on that. So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You've got to keep multiple plates spinning here. But this is exactly why purely trying to sell SEO as open quotes SEO is it's just as limiting as it is difficult, and that's really the purpose of this show.
A little story here. I have somebody I follow on Instagram. Really cool company. They do custom motorcycles. Not you. They do really cool custom motorcycle products, and I mean they just have if you're into this stuff, they just have such a cool aesthetic and style and all this stuff. And about a week or two ago, the owner got on and he's just ranting. The guy's rough around the edges. I'm going to be honest. He's rough around the edges. And he gets on. He just starts ranting. I'll say that to his face. He'll take it as a compliment. He's ranting about how, they put all this work in on their Instagram and all those things. But this post they just did isn't getting any traction. And nobody's got like 10 likes and stuff. But then this next one has 100,000, whatever. And yeah, there's some algorithm stuff going on. I don't know how to crack that. That's not what I'm focused on. But he was like, I don't even know why I'm going to keep going. We're just not even going to try. Maybe we shouldn't even bother. And I wanted to reach through the screen and be like, no, you keep going. That's what you're doing. Those little things are seeds, right? It didn't get the traffic, but you go to your feed, you see how active you've been. You're building the algorithm. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll never know. We can never see behind the scenes, but I said, but the one where you actually wanted to really drive attention to, the traffic's off the charts. So that's what's important. It's you plant those seeds, and I don't know, maybe it was the wrong time of day, whatever it is, but it's there. I'm sure it's still helping. And all these things are going to help you build the foundation of your business. They're going to help you kind of, keep building up and growing. Not any one of them is ever going to completely change your business. It's never going to result in you know what I mean, doubling your sales one day. Like it's that's not going to happen. But all of these combined, hopefully they will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there is one massive caveat I have to put on this, which is something we talked about before the show, which is absolutely stop selling SEO and do this instead. But what this starts with is not selling marketing plans or growth plans or whatever it is. It's actually about having an audit process or a triage process or a discovery process that you use with new clients, because not everybody is going to be a great fit to work with on a retainer. That's no disrespect to anybody. Sometimes people just don't get on. And that's the way it is. And having, I've frequently, I might have even done it on this show, I've frequently made the connection of selling an SEO retainer or selling a marketing plan on in the first meeting is a bit like getting married on the first date, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you've worked together before, that you understand each other. You got to make sure you can help these people, because otherwise you're just setting yourself up for a fail. So that's where the whole process of having a discovery process or a triage process, as I say, whatever it is you want to call it, if somebody rings you and says, I've got a problem, great, we have this triage process. Let's sit down. The process is this. It costs X, and we'll really get to the crux of the problem and figure out a plan for you. And if we can help you with that plan afterwards, we'll absolutely do that. But if, otherwise the plan is yours, and we can even maybe help you go and find the help that you need, just in case that isn't in our skill set. Happy days. No pressure's taken off. You're going to work with somebody for a one-off process that maybe takes you a day and a half in total from start to finish. And if it's not a good fit, you just never offer them the growth plan. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yep. That's, from my perspective, this, that I come from the maintenance, and, we do hosting and things for hundreds of customers. And I'd love inserting ourselves in that situation. Now, I'm not saying everybody should go be hosting all their websites. If it's not something you're comfortable with, don't do it. But, that puts us in a really good position. Many of them have their own SEO teams, internal, external, other agencies they work with, and that's all well and good. But lots of them are constantly coming to us and like, oh, we need help with this. Hey, what do we do here? And for years, we just, well, sorry, that's not part of the service, and, whatever. And we've changed the last couple of years, or not quite a couple of years, but focusing on hourly retainers each month, which, drives many people up the wall. Don't do hourly, do value-based. But what it has done is cemented us to put in that work and then allow us to go, sure, we can do that for you when they ask, when they never really need it, or when we can make a suggestion, or when we see something that isn't working right, it's time to address this. And we've already got the monthly budget, so let's do that this month. Or you're using it on this, let's have another discussion. But, I love being put into that kind of central position of being their go-to person that handles their, whether it's their website or their digital marketing or, their online business, perhaps. But, we're not the most vital person in their business, but we are the go-to for most of that stuff.
Well, and becoming that go-to is what cements you in their business as the long-term supplier, rather than getting tire kickers that are going to come, maybe sign up for a month or two, get as much as they can out of you and then just leave. Because let's face it, we've all had customers like that in the past. You will become their go-to. And yeah, I've got two clients at the moment that I'm working with really in depth. They've got big projects going on at the moment. I met them both when they both worked at the same company like 8 or 9 years ago. They were one of my first clients when I set my agency up, and they've now taken me to various companies that they've both worked in. And off the back of that, I've got 5 or 6 clients because I'm their go-to, and then they introduce me to the company that they work at, and then when they move on, they take me to the next company, but I still end up working with the previous ones, and so on and so forth. It's a great growth strategy. No, take that back. Don't base your business on that. But it just shows how, if you build the right relationships, it can be a great way to grow your business over a longer period of time.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure we both had plenty of clients come and go over the years, but I've still got customers we've been working with for 10 years now. That's, give or take. And I love that. And we do all kinds of random things for them over the time. And, and those are probably the customers that if I had to sit back and go, boy, I'm really glad I've got those, because those have helped me understand how to keep growing my business
Yeah.
and help more people like them at a greater rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that brings us into land. I hope you found this episode kind of interesting.
I hope so. I hope you're not too mad at our clickbait title. But seriously though, we're not saying, like you were just saying this, but we're not saying don't sell SEO. Just don't sell quote unquote SEO. It's just so much easier to grow at it from a wider perspective, or I guess maybe a more targeted perspective. But in either case, just as people that sell SEO for a living, I want to get away from selling SEO. It sounds so hypocritical, but it's the way things are going. Let's be honest.
The disclaimer is that all of the content in this show has been produced because Pete and Jeff have tried to sell SEO so many times, and these are the things we wish we could say.
Well, I mean, hey, there's been a couple people that have reached out and said, "Hey, I want SEO," and you're like, "Okay, cool. What do you mean by that?" But usually it's a much different answer. Oh, hey, we need help with our marketing, or help with our email list, or help with this, help with that. And I think honestly, if you're listening to this, at least 95% of our active our agency partners would be great at doing all of this stuff if they wanted to do it. They're all capable of it. It's this is all in our zone. So as web professionals, however you want to define that, keep expanding, keep learning, and keep growing, keep offering more and more things, or be able to offer more and more things to your client. You don't need to go sell them everything all the time they want it, but at least be able to do that when they need it, because they're going to need it.
Absolutely.
Recognize when the need comes.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed recording this. It's been good. We haven't done a show in a few weeks. Our rhythm, we got into a really good rhythm, and the rhythm kind of had a bit of a hiccup. But we'll, I know we're heading right into the summer at the moment, but I'm sure when the fall comes, we'll certainly get into a regular rhythm of doing these things again, because they're good fun.
Yeah, they're always fun. And we always enjoy the response. The 1 or 2 thousand people that reach out and tell us how awesome the episode was. We thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I thank the other one. All right, guys. We hope you found this valuable. Let us know if you have. If you haven't, just keep that to yourselves. And we will see you in the next show.
The WP SEO Show is brought to you by SEO Hive, your agency's proactive white label SEO partner. We understand that finding a reliable SEO supplier is key to ensuring you build stable monthly recurring revenue into your digital agency. At SEO Hive, we have a suite of products that will help you sell, scale, and deliver your monthly SEO retainers, from our Scout reports and one-off technical boosters, to our flagship local SEO and honeypot plans, all of which have clear pricing and monthly deliverables. If you want to explore how SEO Hive can help your agency deliver high-quality and reliable SEO agreements for your clients, you can find more information at seohive.co and schedule a call to discuss the next steps.